Vasudeva. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyamsundar, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Singdev, Jagannath Bandi Subhadra, Gaunitai, Tulsimani Shil Haridas Thakur, Guru Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj in the assembly devotees. So, continuing on from the chapter of Canto 3, chapter 16. We were talking earlier about how the four Kumaras reached Vaikuntha and were offended by the two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jay and Vijay, who they cursed. So what happened? Since the gatekeepers are his servants, Lord Narayan considers their offense to the worshipable Kumaras his fault. The Lord states that the Brahman is the highest and most beloved personality. I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrifices in the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouths, with the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmins, who have dedicated to me the results of their activities and who are ever satisfied with my prasad. So the Brahmins are very important to the Lord, and here he specifies how important, and especially those who are qualified Brahmins, of course. He begs forgiveness from the four Kumaras, and he asks them to mitigate the curse by allowing the gatekeepers to swiftly return back to Vaikuntha. So they are given a choice, actually, whether they would like to stay 7 lives as devotees or 3 lives as demons. And they picked the latter because they wanted to be away from the Lord as little as possible. So they decided to come as demons. And of course, this is the Lord's plan because he wanted to have a fight. And he can only fight outside of Vaikuntha, in the material world, and he can only fight with those who are qualified to fight him. Who's qualified to fight him? Those who are his devotees, who are from the spiritual world. So he fights with his own devotees, just to have pastimes, lila. Understanding they, having been bitten by the serpent of anger, have cursed faultless people, the Kumaras, not fully understanding the Lord's speech, glorify the Lord's supremacy and beg him for direction. So this is interesting. The Lord, he's taken the offense onto himself, although there was no real offense, because the gatekeepers were simply doing their job. And actually the four Kumaras became unnecessarily upset. But they could not understand that the Lord was being a little bit sarcastic, and they could not grasp that. They appreciate how the Lord acts as an example, teaching how to worship the Brahmanas. They also state, you are the supreme director of the Brahminical culture. You considering the Brahmins to be in the highest position is your example for teaching others. Actually, you are the supreme worshipper of deity, not only for the gods, but for the Brahmins also. Accepting their error, they said to the Lord that whatever punishment he wishes to award to these two innocent persons, or also to us, they shall accept. So this is, they realized as well that they were unnecessarily angry. The gatekeepers being cursed was preordained. So this is the point. This was already arranged by the Lord because he wanted them to go to the material world so that he could fight with them. Because they had previously angered Lakshmi Devi by barring her entrance because the Lord was sleeping. Throughout their exile, they would remember the Lord in anger and would soon return to Vaikuntha. After this, the four Kumaras, having seen the object of bliss for their eyes, circumambulated the Lord with and with his permission, left. The Lord then addressed Jay and Vijay and told them to go to the material world without fear. The Lord assured the two Vaikuntha inhabitants that by practicing the mystic yoga system in anger, they will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying the Brahmins, and within a very short time return to him. Their beauty and luster diminished by the curse of the Brahmins, Jay and Vijay became morose and fell from Vaikuntha, the abode of the Supreme Lord. The demigods who were seated on their splendid airplanes are disheartened by the fall of Jay and Vijay. Brahma revealed to the demigods that they have entered Diti's womb as twin asuras. This was when Kashyap and Diti united. And it is they who are creating the universal disturbance. Brahma also informs the demigods that there is no remedy within his power. However, for it is the Lord himself who desires to do all this. So sometimes, we face issues in our lives and we think, wow, what's going on here? So we have to accept that this is actually the blessing of the Lord. This is for our own good. The Lord is the controller of the universe, and his powers, Yogamaya, cannot be easily understood even by masters of yoga. That most ancient person, the Supreme Lord, will alone come to the rescue. What purpose can be served on his behalf by deliberating on this subject? So that's the end of chapter 16. Chapter 17 is entitled Victory of Hiranyaksh over all the directions of the universe. The Devatas returned to their planets relieved. Diti was apprehensive about the birth of the twins, as many fearful catastrophes appear in this universe. There are earthquakes, fires, storms, and high wailing waves. She-jackoos vomit fire, dogs howl, asses stampede, planets collide, and deities shed tears. These are all not good signs. The twins are massive, powerful, beautifully decorated. Kashyap Muni named them. The firstborn twin, who was Jay, was called Hiranyaksha, and Vijay was called Hiranyakashipu. Thinking themselves immortal, they are proud and fearless. Because of his invincibility, Hiranyaksh rules the universe. Even the demigods hide from them in fear. Not finding the demigods, he roared loudly in frustration. Diving into and moving about for many years in the ocean, Hiranyaksh impudently falls at Varun's feet. So Varun is the deity of water, ocean, begging him for battle because Varun is reputed to be very strong. Varun, controlling his anger by using his intelligence, pleaded old age, declines. Instead, he suggests Hiranyaksh approach Vishnu, who alone would satisfy him in battle, but who would also kill him. So Varun was very frank. Vishnu is the only one capable of fighting with you, but he will kill you. Varun states, it is in the order to exterminate wicked fellows like you and show his grace to the virtuous that he assumes his various incarnations like Varaha. So this is the boar incarnation which came. Chapter 18. We can do a quick overview actually. It's worthwhile doing this because it's quite a long chapter. So what happens in this chapter? Parikshit asks Sukadeva Goswami to describe Vidur's activities, why he leaves Hastinapur after being insulted and traveled to the holy places. Vidur meets Uddhav and inquires about the Yadus, the Pandavas and Krishna. Uddhav was feeling great separation from Krishna, who had just departed, and described some of his transcendental pastimes in Hastinapur, Vrindavan, and Dwarka, explaining not everyone, even the Yadus, understood his supreme position as Bhagavan. Krishna is very hard to understand. He hides himself. Uddhav describes how the Yadus disappeared and how he met Krishna in Maitri and Prabhash, where Krishna gave his final instructions and tells Uddhav he will go to Vaikuntha at the end of his life. Uddhav recalls the pastimes of Krishna to Vidur, who makes further inquiries, but Uddhav refers him to Maitreya due to Vaishnava etiquette. Vidur was overwhelmed by Krishna's remembrance of him at the time of his return to Golok. So Vidur was very fortunate. Krishna remembered him at the end. He went to Maitreya. Vidur asks many questions to Maitreya about the creation of the material world, how the Lord incarnates, etc. Maitreya, being pleased, begins to describe the process of creation. So quite a lot of Canto 3 is dedicated to the process of creation, how Vishnu awakens Maya Devi and brings into play 23 elements with their respective devatas who pray to the Lord for empowerment as they cannot work together. Then Vishnu enters into the elements which transforms into the universal form, Vishwarup, which in turn divides into various Shaktis and then demigods, planets, and Varnas manifest. Vidur asks about his doubts, which Maitreya dispels, and then Vidur asks lots of further questions. Maitreya explains his dysthypic succession, then about Lord Brahma's birth, meditation, self-realization, and darshan, which Brahma had, of Narayan and Vaikuntha. Brahma surrenders to the Lord, offering wonderful prayers, begging for protection. The Lord blesses him to do his service of creation and become his devotee. Maitreya describes creation of planets, the 3 types of annihilation, 10 types of creation, and time, including Brahma's time. So we saw the vastness of Brahma's time. Maitreya explains the birth of the 4 Kumaras, Rudra and the 10 sages, the incident with Brahma's daughter, advent of Swambhu Manu, which leads to the pastimes of Lord Varaha. Vidur asks further about Varaha, and Maitreya explains about Kashyap and Diti's inauspicious uniting. So then the last chapter, or last 2 chapters, demigods go to Brahma for help as the darkness has covered the universe by the unborn twins. Because Diti kept them in her womb for a very long time, which caused darkness in the universe. Brahma tells them the story of the twins fall down from Vaikuntha due to their offense to the 4 Kumaras, and assures this is all part of the Lord's plan. Hiranyaksh picks a fight with Varun, who refers him to Vishnu. So the conversation is basically between Vidur and Maitreya. Chapter 18, the battle between Lord Boar and demon Hiranyaksh. Neglecting Varun's warnings and finding out from Narad, Hiranyaksh searches out Lord Varaha, who is rescuing the earth with his tusks from the ocean. Hiranyaksh accuses him of stealing his property and challenges Varaha to fight. After lifting the earth and placing her safely on the water, Lord Varaha, replies to the demon. The Lord tells Hiranyaksh that his proud words are useless because the Lord will surely kill him in battle. This was a battle the Lord looked forward to. So, a great battle ensued in which both parties repeatedly and angrily struck each other. Seeing the great fight extending towards evening, because the Lord was playing with Varaha, Brahma, accompanied by the sages, became afraid. He begs the Lord to kill the ever troublesome Hiranyaksh and gain victory for the demons. It is almost evening, and the time when the demoniac powers increase, and Brahma petitioned the Lord to quickly dispose of the demon. Chapter 19. The Lord laughed and accepted Brahma's prayers. When Lord Varaha loses his mace in the fight, the demon had the opportunity, but did not strike the Lord. This made the Lord angry. So the demon, even he, has some etiquette. As the Lord's mace fell, the demigods became alarmed. The Lord then invokes his Sudarshan Chakra and the demigods pray that he soon kill Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha becomes furious and humiliated when his club, trident, and fists are easily rebuffed by the Lord. He was reluctant to take back his mace when the Lord offered it to him. So he dropped his mace. The Lord said, "Hey, can't fight you without mace. Pick it up." He got angry actually at that time. Although the demon struck the Lord's chest with his hard fist, the Lord did not feel the least quaking in any part of his body, just like an elephant hit by a garland. Nice example. Disappearing from sight, Hiranyaksha invokes mystic tricks to try to win victory. He conjures up terrible storms, volleys of stones, blood, pus, and stool, naked demonesses, and hordes of savages. Lord Varaha easily disperses these tricks with his Sudarshan Chakra. At this time, a shudder ran through Diti's heart as she remembered her husband's words, which was, "The Lord will kill your sons." All the demon's assaults on the Lord proved futile. To end the fight, after the demon started to strike the Lord with his fists, Lord Varaha slaps Hiranyaksha in the root of the ear. So after all this fighting, all he does is just gives him a little tap in the root of his ear. The demon spins around, his eyes bludgeoning, and limbs broken, and he falls to the ground dead. Brahma acknowledges that this was a glorious death for such a terrible demon as Hiranyaksha. While seeing the face of the Lord, the demon cast off his body. Brahma also notes that the demon is one of the Lord's pure devotees and will therefore soon return to Vaikuntha. Hearing or seeing the Lord's pastimes brings great happiness. It relieves one of sin, confers all opulence and strength, liberates one from material world. Maitri informs Vidur that after killing the most formidable demon, Hiranyaksha, the Supreme Lord Hari, the origin of the boar species, returns to his own abode, where there is always uninterrupted festival. So then back to Sutta Goswami. Remember, this is a conversation that originally took place between Sutta Goswami and the sage's name is Sharanya, including Shonak Rishi. And then from the second canto, it went to Sukadev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj, then Vidur and Uddhav, and then we've just been talking between the talks have been between Maitreya and Vidur, and now it's again Sutta Goswami taking it back again. He tells Shonak that Vidur felt transcendental bliss by hearing the Lord's pastimes. Anyone who hears, chants, or takes pleasure in the Lord's pastimes of the killing of Hiranyaksha is at once relieved of the results of sinful activities, even the killing of a Brahmin. So that's the end of chapter 19. We can stop there. Any questions? Any comments?
Prabhuji,
Yes, Naniman.
when you said that initially that the Lord took upon himself, that it was not the fault of the, yeah, I didn't understand that.
It's the fault of, well, when the master, uh, when the servant does something wrong,
Yeah.
actually the responsibility is on the master.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, when the disciple does something wrong, it's actually the spiritual master who takes responsibility. I did not train my disciple properly.
Yes.
That's humility. So similarly, the Lord, even though this is Vishnu, who is the greatest, he's still very humble. So if he
Mm.
sees his servant doing something wrong, he will accept that he is in the wrong for not training
Mm.
the servant properly. Yeah. But also
Okay.
there was a little bit of sarcasm there because actually they didn't do anything wrong. They stopped the four Kumaras, but that was their job. That anybody who comes to Vaikuntha, they will wed them. So actually, they were not at fault. Um, the fault lied really with the four Kumaras for getting angry at those who were the pure servants of the Lord. Um, so they actually, as a result of that, the four Kumaras they gained the position of Shantaras. Yeah,
Mm.
Shantaras where they observe all the pastimes, but they cannot participate in the pastimes because of that offense. So they cannot be servant, they cannot be friend, they cannot be parent or lover of the Lord. They could simply observe because they were still very pure at heart. But they just made that one mistake of offending, of cursing, getting angry and cursing Jain Vijay.
I think they may show that they're proud of of their knowledge or being there at the gate of the entrance
Mm,
to go to see
yeah.
Vishnu Bhagwan. So maybe it shows a bit of a pride in there.
Yeah, little pride, little pride. That's right. Little pride.
Yeah.
Who are you
Okay.
to stop us? Who are you to stop us? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But because they were such exalted personalities, that little pride didn't stop them from attaining
Mm.
liberation, which is incredible. So yeah, very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you, Nani. Thank you. Okay. Anything else? Anybody
Yeah.
else?
Hare
Yes.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Something I missed it. I mean, not missed it, but I've forgotten about it. Uh, about those twins, and you said it went dark.
Yeah. What happened? Diti did,
Yeah,
didn't give birth to the twins for many years. She kept them. How many years was it? 12 years or something like that? It was a long time. And what that did, it caused a disturbance in the universe. The
and
sun, sorry, the
yeah,
sun and the moon lost their luster. They became dim. So the whole universe became dark because Diti did not give birth to the two demons.
and they were the one was given cross.
Yes,
Herak,
that's right.
Herakasap and
Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu.
Hanakasipu and Herakasap.
Hiranyaksh.
Yeah, and I can't say it properly.
I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, so those two were going to give birth. Diti was going to give them birth, but because they were demons, Diti said, "I'm not going to give them a birth." But then in the end,
Yes,
she did
yes. She had no
after
choice. She had no choice.
after 12 years.
Something like 12 years, yeah. She had no choice. She had to give birth.
Right. Yes.
Prabhu, was it 100 years? I can't remember.
Oh, may have been 100 years. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you said last time. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and something else in the last chapter you did say about even chanting Hiranakasip mantras, you will still you will be out of your sin. Is that right, or is it me wrong? The last chapter.
Not Hiranyakashipu.
Some things you did mention something about
Chanting, it has to be the Lord's names.
just not this one.
Yeah. No,
Just,
you won't be on this one. But if we want to get liberation or get closer to the Lord, then it's the chanting of the names of the Lord which is important.
all
Not-
right. Maybe I've heard wrong.
Yeah, not the demons. Definitely not.
All right. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The gentleman I was going to tell you to join,
Oh, yeah, he
he's
didn't join.
finding difficult to join. I don't know why.
It should be okay. It should be straightforward because Rianch also joins from India.
Yeah, I will speak to him later when the satsang
Okay.
finish.
Okay, thank you.
He's from Hare Krishna too.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So if there's nothing else, we can stop there. Hare Krishna. So, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Lord
Jai.
Narayana ki jai.